All right, Miss Chantell is back at it again. Honey, let me explain something to you. Listen, I've had this happen before on a different sector where people was fucking with my channel. And honey, I've seen some stuff on the YouTube channels. One second. Let me see what this about. Okay, yeah, I've had some let me see if I can hear this pretty good by the way. Hold on. All right, that's pretty good. My music not too loud, but like I was saying, I've had this happen before in a different sector where somebody was fucking with my channel who had a beef against me for my opinion and shit. Okay, just based on my opinion, had a whole beef against me and want to start fucking with my channel. Made a whole channel, like I ain't gonna go into that. But anyway, the dude was into some type of he was a cybersecurity specialist or whatever, and he loved to fuck with black women. But baby, he came across some white guys and they served him right. They was like, "Oh, you want to target soft targets, fucking with women? Ooh, child. Ooh, girl, they got rid of him. Ooh, I don't even want to talk about that. Ooh, that's why I cut my channel off. The last channel I had, I was like, listen, when that shit get creepy stalker, I just disconnect. Okay, it ain't that serious and shit. Let me have my opinion. You have your opinion. We just it's not that serious. Okay. Um, that's why I don't allow people to come up on the panel. When I offer Charlie to come up, I'm like, only Charlie. Okay, nobody else. Because people be crazy and shit. They don't know how to respect each other's opinions and respect community. One second, respect community areas. And you really have to expect that because I think this too loud. I think that's good. But um, in the openings, you'll have people when it's an opening like a community type of setting. You'll have people that everybody ain't mentally stable is what I'm saying. So you're gonna have those people that gather on the panel and you know that shit come out, spill out on the panel, and it's up to the host to control that. But that's when you find out what the host is about. And then you decide to leave that person channel alone, frequenting the channel because the host is on, some retarded nigga shit too. You understand what I'm saying? I've been to channels that's highly disrespectful, like, and you gotta expect that because, like I said, some of them are mentally unstable. You understand what I'm saying? So, even a host of the panel, I've been to some channels where the men just want you to act like you're a servant or some shit. Like, listen, I've been in channels where women is seriously angry with men, and you like, baby, let that go and keep on living. Be happy. No, I'm like, oh shit. Okay, okay, but listen, that's why I don't let people come up on the panels. I prefer to go. I really enjoy it like this. I only open my panel, the comments section. I mean, for people to come in and chat with each other, really, not with me. You can chat with me, but I don't be looking at the chat box while I'm talking. I be on a private screen because I don't want to be, how I'm gonna get my talk done if I'm looking at the one second. if I'm constantly looking at the comment section, the chat box. I can't do that. That's going I'm gonna constantly be that would be me talking to the chat members, okay? So I don't do that. What I do is come and give my spiel on a topic, and once I'm finished, I'll look at my comment section, the chat box, and see what's up, and then I'll talk to people. And then I offer somebody up who I'm familiar with from another channel, something like that. One second. What's up with this? Hmm. Oh, okay. So it went on a pause. Interesting. One second. Yeah. So that's what I do, and then I chat with with the comments, people in the box making some comments or whatever like that. But once again, I don't really care to let people that I'm not familiar with up on the panel to talk with because it's a lot of people that's, to me, I can't handle conversations with everybody. You understand what I'm saying? Um, we can have a difference of opinion, but some people, they don't have good communication styles. Like, it's different levels of communication styles, and a lot of people communication style is a little bit much for me. Now, Miss Chantell is New Orleans born and raised, New Orleans bred, and my speech. Oh, one second, y'all. Shit. Give me a minute. I'm trying to fix this. I'm like, listen, it must not be meant for me to do a live stream right now because OMG, I just sat down after trying to go live to do another live, and now I got to get up and fix this. Let me see. Child, that's what it is. I'm like, at this point, maybe it's not meant for me to do a live stream. I know what I'm gonna do though. Give me one second. Ain't that a blimp though? Listen. Ooh, child. I said, okay, so earlier I was having some issues with my StreamYard. And then my StreamYard cut off. I was assuming it's because they keep wanting me to pay for services and I'm still using the free stuff. So then when I logged back on again, it was another issue. I'm like, what's going on with this? It says live, and I didn't even press the go live button. So I was confused about that. I'm like, oh shit, was it recording without me even knowing? Because that was pretty weird. And I assumed, from the past, I had somebody fucking with my system. Okay, I told y'all that already. So then I cut that one off and came on here, and then this stuff spilled. I'm like, oh my gosh. Let me just relax, though, and take it easy. Just, you know, we don't stress about nothing. We just relax, take it easy. This is my third cup of coffee, by the way. I'm on a coffee thing today. Mm. Listen, what the hell was I even talking about? I was talking about I was telling y'all how I do not. I'm okay with not having people on panels that I'm not familiar with because a lot of people unstable and shit, and I can't have those kind of conversations with people because that's just not something I'm willing to delve into with people. Like, it's and I was saying that I'm New Orleans born and raised, and that's enough right there. My speech alone is like I speak a colloquial dialect, New Orleans colloquial dialect. You guys know that. Sometimes when I say stuff, it don't always mean what you may think it means. You know what I mean? I might say something that you don't really get because you're not New Orleans raised or lived in New Orleans. You know what I mean? So I try to, um, I try my best to use the formal dialect that all USA people use when I'm talking to somebody not from New Orleans, like on a panel. Okay. So, but um, that's it's about communication styles. A lot of people, they're hostile with their communication. And that's not really communication. That's when they just got issues, hidden issues, and they already unstable and they hop on a panel and the opportunity to spill as somebody because the person is listening in is there. So, no, I don't want bitches threatening me, threatening to eat me and shit raw and all that. That's why I don't no thank you with the hitting the link. You know what I'm saying? No thank you. I'm all right. I'll let somebody who I'm familiar with come on. I have family members that's begging to come on here, and I'm like, your ass is too wide open. You don't know how to chime down. You got points to prove. So I don't want that person up here like, mm-mm. And I didn't had the butch lady up here. That motherfucking butch lady try to run me over and shit. Like, I was like, wait a minute, there's two females on this panel. Why the fuck am I feeling man energy? I don't like it. I don't like the man energy stuff when I'm talking to women. Shit is confusing. I'm like, we supposed to be chillax talking. I don't want that man energy shit. Sometimes studs can be way worse than men. Shit. I mean, I ain't never dealt with any of them personally, relationship wise, but I'm familiar with them being around them. And I had friends that was lesbians and had stud boyfriends, and they very aggressive and shit. And that's what that lady got on my panel, being super fucking aggressive, stud aggressive with me. And I'm like, the fuck? So that shit, I had to bust that out. I was like, okay, I see I'm gonna have to check this motherfucker. And I had to like, girl, stay cool with it. Stay cool. Don't let this bitch pull you out of character on line. So I had to keep my cool, and that took a lot. But because what I wanted to say was, bitch, do you know who the fuck I am, bitch? You come on here. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't say all that. And I prefer it like this right here. Miss Chantell is doing her spiel, and I will let somebody up on a panel to socialize with them, conversate with them. But it has to be somebody I'm familiar with, right? I ain't dealing with all that crazy shit. Hold on, let me take a sip of my coffee. Mm. No offense to the butch community, but yeah, man, butches can be shit. They can be tougher than men. Like, god damn it, shit, you just trying to pimp me and shit. Hold on a second. This thing got commercials to it. I don't like that. But yeah, today I'm multitasking, doing my cleaning. I'm just washing now, so. But yeah, I don't play that shit. You know what I'm saying? No, no. Talking to me, telling me what to do. I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck? I say, I see where this headed. I have to check this bitch. All right, so girl, I wrote some things down because of the last live stream that cut off. I was like, who was I talking about? I gotta write it down. So I wrote some things down. Hold on, let me get my papers right. I hope y'all having a good day out there in YouTube land, in your worlds, not just on YouTube, in your world. Oh, did y'all see? Oh yes, honey, I just saw. Um, what is this? Oh, okay. Yeah, I just saw a video where a YouTuber went and shot another YouTuber in Vegas. And that's what I'm saying. The guy probably didn't expect that. They were out, they told where they were in the public or whatever. And he pulls up on them beefing on YouTube, because some people take the beef for a little. And he pulled up on them and shot them dead. Like, they unstable out there. You know what I'm saying? That's why I don't let motherfuckers on the panel. And that's why I said, let me not go on any panels unless I'm familiar with the people. Because them motherfuckers crazy. Y'all know about the guy threatening to eat me and shit, the cannibal. He's a real life cannibal from Africa. The bitch threatened to eat me raw. I didn't take it for no joke. I was like, because I had just finished reading about their culture. I was like, ooh, this bitch. Nah, I can't talk about sorry. No, you not. Sorry, my ass. Hold on, let me tell you something. I don't take no kind of threats for light. Sure don't. And a lot of people don't. So back to what I was saying. Um, I wonder if y'all can hear me. Let me check my audio. Shit, I was thinking earlier. I'm like, oh, somebody fucking with my channel. One second. All right, it sounds good. It sounds good. I thought my music was loud, but it's not loud at all. So that's good. All right, back to the music, and back to the music and the conversation. Let me tell you something. I was on a channel back in the days, and baby, I seen people use AI on people, the AI voice thing, where they go, you gotta pay for that or whatever. And I seen that shit where they they get online and talk like they the person who they beefing with in their voice. I seen that shit like I they be on the white channels, y'all. But I seen that. I'm like, oh my, they was doing all kind of stuff. Just all kinds of stuff. Okay. So when people hit your link, it's not always they're not always who they say they are. People, you could be talking to a male, but it's really a female using AI voice, the AI voice thing. Yeah, they sound like whoever they want to sound like. They can sound like you, or they can download whoever voice and whatever. Child, I seen that. So when y'all gotta be careful with it. When y'all talking to these people, just because they sound black, don't mean they black. Okay, it does not mean they black. Just because they look black, does not mean they black. All right, I'm gonna show you a little something, something. Let me show you this real quick. Give me a second. I'm pulling the video up right now. Yeah, get to it. All right, so all right, let's get into this right here. What's up? No, I know I did. Oh, okay. I almost forgot to share the screen. I'm glad I came back. Okay, there it is. Okay, so let's get into this right here.
That answer is simple. The black man is genetically superior to all other male groups on the planet.
What?
At that answer is simple.
Okay,
Hey,
that's what I was
are you the guy? Yeah, what do you need?
Ooh, Uber be on some stuff, baby. Ooh, he a trip. Okay, let me type in something different. Maybe that'll help. Now all of a sudden I can't find a video. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me try. Child, I can't find a video now. That's crazy. Oh my gosh. Anyways, I know Phil Scott did a little something something on it. and it was basically people using silicone masks to look like black men. And it was real looking, super real looking. Okay, so my point is that I wanted to show y'all that, but my point is that you can't always think, the person you're talking to is a real black person, or a male or female. It could be a male pretending to be a female, or a female pretending to be a male because of the AI voice stuff. All right, come on, people now. But let me get into my topic. What is this channel? Okay, I put up there. The title is ADOS FBA Talk. I want to talk about this right quick. As I was saying on the first live stream I was trying to do, I had come on to some YouTube channels and clicked on to see what was being talked about. Let me turn my volume up because I don't think it's up. A lot of stuff around me is loud right now. So I had come on to look at some channels or whatever, see what they're doing on YouTube talking about, and it was very sad to hear. Um, Shit, I gotta turn this on. This is a little slow for me. Let me put some Lauren Hill on and stuff. Shit. Lauren be getting into it. Okay. All right. So I had come on and on YouTube, and I heard some of the negative talk. Like, it was crazy because from channel to channel to channel, it was constant negativity about the Black American community, FBA in particular. Them immigrants be faking like they are Black Americans, but they actually Black immigrants. They don't specify I'm Nigerian American or, you know, Bohemian American or some shit. They just be like a Black American. So the ADOS FBA family is really being sabotaged by these people pretending to be us and misrepresenting us, calling themselves Black Americans. So now we are delineating, which is very good for us, and we call ourselves ADOS FBA now. For anybody who don't know, okay, because they have taken the title Black American and running around with it, pretending to be us, sabotaging our community, spreading hatred among the men and women, making channels talking about, I hate Black women, I'm going to Africa and marry a woman over there. When indeed you are an African. Your origins, you have a tribe you from in Africa. You are African, indeed. Or you're from the Caribbean somewhere. You're not ADOS FBA. You're calling yourself Black American, but you shouldn't be calling yourself Black American. Okay? So, this is how they get in our community and sabotage our community, all while stealing the whole fucking identity from us and stuff. Listen, I'm not going into all that. Y'all know what's up, Black people. Y'all know what these people doing. Y'all know what's up. I'm glad a lot of people waking up to the foolery. Hold on. I'm glad a lot of people waking up to the foolery and catching on and saying, even old people out there, old ADOS FBA people, like, yeah, that's right, I'm 70. I think that's right. Do it, delineate. You know what I'm saying? Listen, because they're trying to sabotage our shit. Let me get into this talk right quick. The negativity ADOS FBA family. Y'all gotta stop this. From channel to channel, you're pulling up statistics. Statistics is not about ethnic group breakdown. It's based on race. Okay, anybody they consider with a drop of black, supposedly from Africa or whatever. Okay, because like I told y'all a while back, the Indian, the black Indians, they like, we Asian, we not black African. Don't you dare call us African. We Asian, we melanated Asian people. Okay, but we don't got no kind of African in us. Don't you dare call us an Africa. That's no. So those black Indians don't play that shit. They they say we Asians. They call themselves Asian. Okay. And of course, anybody else with melanated skin that's out there, uh, you know, listen, all black melanated skin is not of Africa. I need y'all to understand that. All black skin is not of Africa. It's not. Okay. So, statistics is based on race, not on ethnic group. When we talking online about you hearing these immigrants say, and they doing it because this is the type of shit they do, go around lying constantly. It's immigrant children graduating more than the American children. You're a lie. You're a lie times 1,000 liar. That's not true, people. And how can we even prove the shit when the statistics is marked by race and not by ethnic group? The only way we can get around that, people, is to start doing paperwork at HBCUs and other places to find out what kind of black person are you? Are you, what's your origin? And you do know they're gonna lie about their origin, right? Some of them still Trump tried to get them to do this when he first was in office. He was like, I want to know your origin. They were like, I seen videos of them and stuff where they were like, no, I ain't saying my origin. I'm gonna say I'm Black America. A whole Ethiopian woman saying it. No, I'm gonna say I'm Black American because I'm afraid that I've heard Jamaicans. I can't wait till they do reparations. I'm gonna be on that. So they're not gonna tell the truth about their origins. They're in another country running rapid, undocumented, overstayed visas and stuff. And shit, if we was in that position, I guess we wouldn't do it either, right? We trying to play the game to benefit ourselves. All right, so that's where the divide come in because these people are not on the same path as what we trying to do. The benefits, it doesn't benefit them what we're trying to do, and what they're trying to do doesn't benefit us. You understand what I'm saying? So that's where we are different. All right, and black people, if you want to get your shit right, you're gonna have to start paying attention. As soon as a motherfucker come in your comment or whatever, and they start talking bad about Black American women, but I'm talking about ADOS FBA women or Black women. Well, wait a minute. Hold on. Let me ask you a question. You talking about ADOS women, ADOS FBA women, or Black immigrant women? Watch that motherfucker pause and be like, uh, uh, well, yeah, that's a Black immigrant right there, spreading negativity in our community and trying to sabotage our relationships. Same thing with Black women who on these channels trying to spread their hatred for Black men. We need to find out if that's a Black immigrant because I've come into a lot of Caribbean women with channels like that. Okay, so ADOS FBA family got to be up on your game and stop letting people dupe you into hating your fellow sister and brother because that didn't exist before they came. Our communities were solid and locked. We had respect for each other before the flood of immigrants came in the 60s. We had mad respect for each other. And then all of a sudden, that's when our culture started going bad. I watched a video of special ed. You guys probably can pull it up online. It was about special ed. He was doing an interview on Vlad TV, maybe. And he took in Black Special Ed, the rapper, he said they asked him NAA or Wu Tang Clan. That's what they were called, right? Wu Tang, yeah, Wu Tang Clan or whatever. And he said he thought about it. He was like Wu Tang Clan because they positive and they positive. And then he said NWA, they ruined the community. They ruined our culture. And I was like, what the fuck? Really? You know, he from somewhere else. He's a black immigrant. And I'm like, what the fuck? For real? So then he goes on to say, I mean, I respect them because they say what all of us wanted to say. They actually said it. Well, now, sir, how the fuck you gonna respect them? But then you gonna say they sabotage the culture. You know what the fuck? Okay, so what it is that number one, they said what they said because we are people. We are a people of resistance. Period. We've said that many times. It's all over the place. It's documented all over the place. We're resilient, resistant people that just don't. We're not Asian or black immigrants that go along and yes, sorry, yes, ma'am, and all that old stuff. But we fight for what's right. In all of our music, you're gonna hear some of that type of stuff. Tupac, Lauryn Hill, who I'm listening to right now. All of our music got resistance in it. Lauryn Hill singing right now. That's exactly what she's singing about. Tupac sing about it. All of our great lyricists and performers and our poets and all of that spoke on that. Even Bob Marley sung about that. What the fuck is wrong with you people? They just may have used it in an explicit way, they were like the police, you know what I'm saying? But it's still the same thing, even if they said it in a nicer way. It's still the same thing. So this black immigrant special aid dude, he didn't look at what Luke Skywalker, I think that's what he called himself, right? Luke Skywalker, just drop that pussy, dick, more dick. What his song? His song was called, "Hey, that booty." I don't know what the fuck he used to say. Hey, that booty, booty, hey. And all his music was pretty much very, very fucking foul music, extremely foul music. Okay, very. Throw that dick, throw that dick. You know what I'm saying? Don't play. Don't play like twerking is American thing. If you go over to the islands and see they twerking, it ain't got shit for black American twerking. They twerking is girl. Oh, ooh, ooh. Okay, it shouldn't even be shown on a YouTube video. That's girl. So he didn't pinpoint any of that. That's why I always say black immigrants have a different mindset and a different react. They react different and they have a different mindset from us. I respect cultural differences, and that's what's to get mad about. They listen. We have our own people that have moved to Israel. The Black Hebrewites that moved to Israel. I really like the group. I respect the group. I love it. I love what they have become over there. They are thriving. But I can tell you this much. If they came back to America, a lot of those children are born and raised there now. A lot of the ones, they're adults now, running the community. A lot of them are born and raised over there. They don't have our mindset. They don't have our resistance, our mindset, or none of that kind of stuff. Their parents did, but they grew up different than us. Their environments were different than ours. And they don't have our mindset. So we would be dealing with just like the American Liberians. We would be dealing with people that's of our people, but they don't have the same mindset. They're of our lineage, but they don't have the same mindset and the same culture. because they was raised somewhere else. And I ain't gonna lie to you, boy. If I knew about the Hebrew Israelites when my kid was young, I would have got the fuck up out of here. Well, I would have went with them. Oh yes, honey, I would have. Hmm. I did know about it because I knew a girl. I knew a couple of girls who went over there because in Atlanta they had this West End Mall area, and they used to be over there heavily. And her boyfriend was a part of their group, and she told me she was going. And then I bumped into her like she ended up going with this guy who was way older than her. He was like in his 30s and he was a dwarf. But he was a gangster dwarf. Oh yeah, he was. He was a gangster for real. No, I'm not kidding. He was a gangster dwarf. She wasn't a dwarf. And so she got pregnant by him. And she ended up having three more kids with him. But she went to Israel with him. And she came back, that's when I found out she had three more kids with him. So, she was telling me about it, whatever. I knew another girl that went too after her. Her whole man went. But I knew about it, but I was too, I was a little bit. Me and my child's father was together too, and my child's father wasn't about to do that. I can tell you that. But anyways, yeah, if I was like, maybe, I don't know. But the point is, I respect differences. We should respect differences and focus on our own goal. Black immigrants have their agendas and goals. When they in the White House, which is many of them, when they get up in there, their agendas and their goals is not to benefit the ADOS FBA people, Black America. It's not to benefit Black America. Trust me, in their heart of hearts, they are working towards benefiting their own kind because that's who's going to give them the praise, really. That's going to be like, yeah, that person is one of us and they working for us. They try to do that with Kamala. Kamala, the Indian girl Mandy, who was an actor, she was like interviewed Kamala, and we know her brother was a racist, right? She didn't come off racist, but her brother certainly did let us know they're racist. So she interviewed Kamala and she was like trying to get Kamala to call herself Indian and stuff. Kamala was like, what the fuck is really going on here, Mandy? So, anyways, I've heard people saying that Kamala was Indian. I hope I'm saying her name right. Kamala, Kamala. My mom say, don't be pronouncing that lady name like that. Not Kamala, but Kamala. Kamala was, she they wanted her to up her Indian heritage, but she didn't do that. And that's what they were aiming. The Indians wanted her to represent, and she didn't push for that. And so they didn't see her. They rejected her as an Indian woman, and they didn't. They started talking bad about her. They didn't give support to her. Okay, but she's a divided woman because her daddy is not Indian. Her mother is full Indian, but her dad is not. So she's a divided woman. So y'all know. Oh, I'm about to go somewhere else with this conversation. Y'all know how Miss Chantell think about biracials and biethnics. Okay, they in the middle. They divided people. They in the middle. You cannot expect a biracial person to uplift one side of her family. Listen, I have some nieces, my sister husband nieces, biracials. And I remember them telling us when one of them was 8 and the other one was like 7. She said, we don't see our dad because our grandmother on our dad's side, and we don't know our aunties and stuff because the family do not want to get to know us because we're Black. And that touched my heart. I had just had my son, so I was in my 20s, and I was like, oh, that's so sad to hear little kids say that. That's really sad. And so, I was like, wow. And so those little girls were raised around a black side of the family, even though their dad came around too. He was very involved in their life. He came around. And so they were raised strictly around a black family and they know nothing but black. And you can't tell them they're not black women, period. You can't tell them, and their hair texture is like two textures. Like they got kinky hair and fine hair. So you can't tell them they're black, but in society, they're not black people. What they are is a hybrid of people. They are biracials, and biracials are in the middle because you cannot, like for instance, if you were to say all white people are wicked or something like that, they're gonna defend their dad. I just told you their dad was in their life. He didn't abandon them. He was in their life. He was just living with one of them. So he's very much in their life, like their black mom and black uncle and aunties and stuff in their life. So they're not gonna say all white people are wicked because they have a white daddy. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you can never expect a biracial person or bi-ethnic person to put down their other half. It just doesn't make any sense. You cannot expect a biracial person to represent ADOS FBA full blood ADOS FBA women because they are two in one. Okay, it is what it is. I heard a guy Afro whatever he calls himself on his channel. What's that, Afro Elite or something? And I was listening, and I didn't even know the man was biracial. He said that he was biracial. I said, "Oh damn, nigga, I didn't know you was biracial." So his look is black indeed, but he said that his white mother raised him and taught him about. That's the one who put him up on blackness and taught him everything he know about blackness. His white mother, and I was like, really? A white woman taught you how black people feel? Mm, interesting. So, um, you know, that's that's that integration stuff. I don't roll with that. I do not roll with it because for me, a white woman cannot teach you about the depthness of black women. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's just not reality. Now, some people beg to differ because check this out. I just saw a video of a cat barking. I ain't motherfucking lying. Because the cat grew up in the house with dogs. Let me see if I can pull the video up. The cat was barking. It was amazing. The cat was barking because it grew up in a house with dogs. And the cat was barking like, come y'all ass inside. It's getting late. But hold on, let me see if I can pull that video up. And I'm gonna make a point to that video. Okay, wait a minute. Do I have this? Hold on. I don't know why. Like when it comes to finding the particular video, shit, I just seen the video. I know it said cat barked like dog, and it was actually barking like a dog. Okay, so I cannot find a video. I'm not about to go through all these videos like that, but I can't find a video. But anyways, the cat was barking like a dog, y'all, for real. And that's because the cat grew up in a house full of dogs. And so But okay. And so the point is, a white person can grow up around a bunch of black people, which I've seen. I've seen a lady who had four black children, and then her last son was by a Mexican. He looks no black. The boy can pass for a full Mexican, and he was being raised among his full black siblings. Okay, so a person that don't look like us can be raised around us, but here's the catch: they can know us in depth. But the catch is that when they go out in the world, they won't deal with what we deal with. Do you understand what I'm saying? Among societies, they won't get that black experience. They won't. I ain't talking about just bad, whether it's good or bad. They're not seen as us. Do you understand what I'm saying? So just because you've been raised among us and dealt with us, it does not mean you can represent us because you don't look like us. And that's just where I'm at with it. You you can't. Do you hear us sitting up here talking about what we go through in this world with these people and how they come for our particular groups and stuff? A white person don't experience that kind of treatment. This person go to the fucking store and get good treatment and stuff and all that. This person know nothing about, don't get followed or no kind of shit. Do you understand what I'm saying? So how can you say you know us in depth? You don't know us in depth. You know our culture, but you don't know the resistance and all that kind of stuff, the backbone it takes. You don't know that stuff. Understand what I'm saying? So, anyways, to my point, I just don't believe that that a biracial can represent fully black people. The experience is not the same. You may be in depth of the culture, have knowledge, in depth knowledge of our culture, but you live a whole different type of lifestyle when you roam this earth than we do. And we can't jump in and out of blackness. We can't turn around and be like, oh, my mom's white, or my pop's white, or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? We are black, embedded in it. Okay? Cemented, black. And that goes for by ethnic as well. Like, you can't be Jamaican and ADOS FBA representing just ADOS FBA people. It just don't make no sense. But let's move along from that. That's Miss Chantell Says. I wouldn't support that. You understand what I'm saying? I did support that at one point with Obama, right? Because that was my first time voting. It was my family first time voting. We went out and we voted. We stood in them long ass lines round the corners and shit to vote for that man. Really, let me tell you the deal. We didn't do it for him because if he had a white wife or Asian or something, we would have never voted for him. We would have saw him as a white guy. Okay. We went out and voted for Michelle and the girls. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's why we stood in them lines for Michelle and the girls. Know what I mean? Listen, we gotta talk about that Obama dude. Woo! Jay-Z sang about Kim Kardashian being the biggest come up. Baby. Obama take the cake on that. That's the biggest come up. He came out of nowhere. How did he do to come up out of nowhere? Baby, he went via black people. Obama he married a smart black woman who had connections already working for the mayor and then connections to the Senate. Oh yeah, she was up in there already working for the Senate. Sisters. The sister was like, yeah, I'm gonna give you my Senate seat for a year or two. I'll take a break. And I'm like, yeah, okay. She come back. Oh, I'm ready to come back in office. Obama like, well, baby, you're gonna have to wait because I ain't ready to get that seat up yet. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, baby. Charge it to the game, sweetheart. Shit. I was like, what? Obama's like, you don't have to wait, sweetie. I ain't ready to get this seat up. Okay. So the sister had to wait. I don't know if she got her Senate seat back or not, but Obama stayed there until whenever he was ready to leave. And then he began to participate in a black community in Chicago, rolling his sleeves up, popping up where you see marches. Like he ended up in Mississippi when that young black boy had beat the white boy half dead because the white boy made a noose in a tree. And so Obama popped up there. No, no, we're gonna, and by the way, his slogan was Martin Luther King's slogan, that yes we can stuff. That's what Martin Luther King used to say. Oh yes, baby. So, anyways, he went into the black community in Chicago, where Michelle was from. Already had connections to the community because that's where she from. The hood of the hoods there. And he knew he wouldn't get the support because he married a woman from there. Come on now. Now, this man went and began to play organizer in a community there. Now we know he was playing, but we know now he was playing because he don't give a fuck about him today, okay? Today, go see if Obama doing anything in that community. Hell fucking no. Like, I got what I wanted. I'm out of here. Now, Michelle, you can stay if you want, but not me and the girls. Listen, so we're gonna talk about Obama another time though, right? Because his story is the real come up. All right, Kim Kardashian, same thing. They're black men, you know. Listen, we'll talk about the come up, how people do the come up off of blackness another time. We're not gonna go into that. Let's try to stay on topic. And my topic right now is I was talking about the biracials, but Obama messed it up for everybody else. We caught on to it after Obama. Kamala, she couldn't do it after that. We like, nope, girl, we're not doing that no more. Sorry, but sorry. No, baby. We're not calling you black and you're really not one of us. Okay, Obama wasn't one of us either. He Kenyan and white. You're not an ADOS FBA, okay? We're gonna cut the shits now. We're not doing that no more. He played us all the way to the left for 8 years straight. Ain't do one motherfucking thing for us. Did everything for the gays and the immigrants, okay? And then say fuck Chicago because he ain't never turned back around once he finished his terms. All right, we know that shit was fake. The man ain't never went back. Okay, they were living their life, doing all kind of shit, lavish trips with their white friends. Y'all be seeing the videos. Listen, listen. I'm glad we're waking up to truth and trying to not savage, but salvage was get it together as a people. And it's gonna come together. But we're not doing a biracial thing no more. Let's move into a different topic. I'm gonna talk about I want to talk about the MLK march and then integrationists among the ADOS FBA people. I'm trying to see which one I want to go into first. Text message. Let's go ahead into let's talk about the MLK March first, because you know what? It leads into integration, anyways. All right. All right. So hold on. Let me put my blanket in the dryer right quick. It stopped. Give me a minute. Yes, indeed. I'm back, baby. Where I'm at. Shame on you. You should have known. All right, what was I talking about? Um, Shit, give me a minute. Let me think. I say I was about to start talking about the MLK movement. Yeah, that's right. Hold on, let me share something with you. You make me feel like I'm fly, fly, fly. You know. Hey. All right. So I was talking about. Look, Eric is smiling. I hype me up, dance man. Ooh, that hype me up, dance man. That little young man is fine, honey. I don't know how old he is, but he is fine. Hold on, girl. Gorgeous, good looking, fine young man. I like to see him dance. Hype me up. Hype me up. So, anyways, how the fuck you get on this channel? Hold on. Uh-uh. Oh, okay. All right, so I was talking about all right, back to the topic. So I was talking about the movement with the MLK. Yeah, yeah, that's what I was talking about. I went in from the biracial talk to the MLK leadership. That's what I'm gonna call it, leadership. Give me a second. Yeah, so like I was saying, it's a new day and a new time. We are not living in the yesteryears. This is not the yesteryears. Oh, look, I'm on an hour. Every time I look up and I'm on an hour, it's like I didn't reach my topic yet. But I've been talking about what I wanted to talk about so far. But it's a new day, a new time, and we have to adjust to that. You understand what I'm saying? I hope my dryer not too loud because I hear the belt buckle or whatever. But we have to adjust to today's time. When we had our leaders, like, and we did have leaders. A lot of people think we didn't have leaders at no time, but we did have leaders back in the days like MLK and those before him and stuff like that. Those are leaders. Now, if you're expecting to see one person lead, this is what I really want to talk about. If you expect to see one person lead the whole fucking blackness of America, that's not happening. That's far fetched. That's really crazy. If you're looking for one leader to lead all of Black America, you're never going to see such a thing. It's never going to happen. We're not a monolith of people, first and foremost. And second, that would be really hard for one person to do. Michael Jordan didn't win all of the championships by himself, playing by himself. It was a team, and it also had other big time players on that team that can hang with him that may have been better than him. I don't know though, because I'm not into sports like that. But they may have been just as good as him. I think Scottie Pippen was one of them, right? But he didn't win by himself, is what I'm saying. He didn't take that team to championship after championship by himself. No, baby. He was one of the top players. Do you understand what I'm saying? It takes more than one to win those championships. Understand that, people. Did I let you guys know on this particular stream? Because the very first stream I was doing, I had started off with talking about the negativity being spread among our community. Before I even go into that, let me say that right quick. What the hell? Let me say that right quick about the negativity being spread in the Black American communities, which is Black immigrants pretending to be Black Americans, spread negativity in our communities and about our communities. Okay, that's what they do. They get online, spread negativity among us and about our communities. Let me tell you something, as I said on the other screen, you guys need to start pinpointing the positive things of your communities. Start celebrating the positive things of your communities. Like they're telling you, immigrants is leading graduation rates for high schoolers and college students is a motherfucking lie. Stop it. It's a motherfucking lie. All the way through and through, it's a lie. Shut that shit down. It's a lie. Number two, these people are working overtime, spreading hatred among us and about us. Why pretending to be us? That's called sabotaging us. We need to stop spreading negative things about our culture and our community and our women and our men. Period. Period. When you hear a motherfucking dragging Black women, shut them down. Shut her down. When you hear a motherfucker dragging Black men, shut them down. Shut her down. If they're dragging Black women, shut him down, shut her down. They're talking about Black children bad. They don't want to look at the positive things, shut them down. When I say Black children, I'm talking about ADOS, FBA, men, women, and children. This is how you stop people from sabotaging your community. How about you tell them some bad shit about Jamaicans? Yeah, I don't like Jamaican, whatever. They're gonna shut that shit down. Yo, man, why you talking about Jamaica? You in America though. What the fuck? Come on, Black ADOS FBA. What's up with that? You gotta shut them down. Focus on the positive things of your community. Statistics. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier in my stream. Statistics is race-based. It's not ethnic based. The groups are not broken down. So you can just leave that shit alone. Back into the conversation though. Try to speak positive about your communities. I mean, I clicked every YouTube channel I had clicked on when I got on YouTube. It was talking bad about the ADOS FBA community and culture. I'm like, what the fuck? God dang, y'all really pay attention to negative shit. Just negative. Ain't nobody pointing out the positive things of the community, of the culture. Just negative shit. And that's how they winning. But baby, if you want to win ADOS FBA family, as soon as somebody start talking ill about the Black American ADOS FBA culture, you shut them down. As Soon as they talk crazy about the ADOS FBA women, you shut them down. Soon as they talk crazy about the ADOS FBA men, you shut them down. Soon as they talk crazy about the ADOS FBA children and young people, you shut them down. Our culture's so bad, but you trying to take part in it. Come on now, make it make sense. Pinpoint and highlight the positivity of your culture and communities. Because if not, you're losing ADOS FBA family. We have enough people going around pinpointing the negative things, trying to act as though the negative, the small negative in our community, percentage in our community represent the whole of our community. All right, so back to my topic. My topic is let me get back on that topic of it being leaders of today. You cannot expect, you cannot, shit, my ice melting. You cannot expect one person to carry all the leadership of the black, not black, I'm sorry, of ADOS FBA community in America. That would be insane. That would be crazy. That's impossible. All right? You cannot expect one person to do that. Martin Luther King did not do that alone. Do you understand what I'm saying? He had a whole committee and he didn't even author the movement. And when he did represent the movement and take leadership of the movement, do you know he had a whole committee behind him? He wasn't by himself, okay, people? He wasn't by himself. And it would have been impossible for him to do by himself. Okay? So, um, we should never expect to see one person represent the whole ADOS FBA family, descendants of chattel slaves. Okay, descendants of chattel slavery in America. We should never expect to see one person represent the whole ADOS FBA family. It is always going to be multiple leaders. It is always going to be multiple grassroots movements, which is needed. We can't just have one. We have to have multiple ones. We're a lot now. Okay, we dispersed all around the country now. Okay, we don't just need one movement. We got to have it all around the country to address different issues as we do. Okay, they over there working on reparations. They over there working on getting gangs to unify. They over there working on education and stuff, better education. They over there working on, you know, whatever. And that's what's needed. Okay. Then you have the religious sectors or spiritual, if they want to call it, they leading their people. They gathering and leading, unifying and organizing and leading. Okay. That's needed. A lot of groups we don't even know about. They got a lady in Atlanta. She runs a group for black women. That's coming out of drug rehab and supporting each other and stuff. There's a lot of groups we don't even know about. So again, you should never expect to see one leader represent all of ADOS FBA people. Okay, that's not gonna happen. When Martin Luther King was, when they were busy doing their civil rights thing, a whole bunch of other groups sprung up into action. A whole bunch of other groups, they sprung into action. And not just black groups, it was non-black groups as well influenced. They were all influenced by the civil rights movement, which was authored by black women, by the way. I'm just keeping it real. Okay. So let's go to that. All right. Let me see what it said. I was reading earlier about the Israelites. There's so many different communities of Israelites outside of America, you know. I was reading about it. But hold on, let me get into the other groups. Yeah. All right. So during the MLK movement, civil rights movement is what it really is. A lot of other groups, grassroots groups, sprung up into action, which they should have, because once again, you cannot expect one person to lead all of ADOS or represent all of ADOS FBA people in a country. Cannot expect that. He had his movement, and other movements, as you can see on the screen, sprung up. Okay, all in the colleges and everything. All right, and they even had some other minority groups that sprung up. Um, sprung up. They were inspired by the civil rights movement, and they sprung up too. Okay, look at that. The American Indian movement, inspiration, civil rights movement, activism model. And it was focused on sovereignty and treaty rights and cultural preservation and justice for Native peoples. Women liberation movements sprung up 60s and 70s. They were influenced and gained momentum as the civil rights and anti-war movements highlighted issues of equality and discrimination, and their focus was on gender equality and workplace rights and reproductive rights. And then let's go back to the top. Chicano movement, right? That's the Mexicans. Growth, they started in the 1960s, and it was influenced by black civil rights activism, and they focused on Mexican American rights, labor rights, farmers' rights and education reform and anti-discrimination. And then you had the students in the colleges also fighting for rights, initially aligned with King's nonviolence philosophy, but later became more militant under leaders like Carmichael. All right, they was like, okay, this shit ain't working. We ain't getting our ass whipped every day, and it was like, listen. No, none of that no more. They had sit-ins and freedom rides and voter registration drives in the South. And then they had the Black Power movement that sprung up in the 1960s, and it was influenced. It grew partially as a response to the limitations of the nonviolent civil rights strategy. And the leaders were people like Stokely Carmichael and Huey P. Newton and Bobby Seale, the Black Panther movement, right? And they focus on racial pride, economic empowerment, and self defense, often contrasts with MLK nonviolent philosophy. Okay, so we have a whole lot of different groups that sprung up. Oh, listen, there you go. You have the LGBTQ plus rights movement, and they early activist groups like the Mattachine Society existed, but activism grew in the 60s. The Catalyst event, the Stonewall riots, I think that was in Seattle, which were influenced by broader movements for civil rights and justice for the gays. And then you had the and then you even had the anti-Vietnam War movement, which sprung up in the 60s, and a connection to MLK became a vocal opponent of the war in 1967, linking militarism and racism and poverty. And their focus was on ending the U.S. involvement in Vietnam, promote peace, and redirect resources and social media injustice. You understand what I'm saying? So And the summary is the civil rights movement under MLK act as a spark and a model for many other social justice movements. It emphasized on grassroots organizing, nonviolence, and mass protests laid the foundation for a broader era of activism across various communities. Okay. And listen, this is what they're looking for today. ADOS FBA family. Today, people, all of these groups I just mentioned pretty much the Asians, the anti Vietnam War, the LGBT, all of these groups fed off the civil rights movement, right? Inspired by them and fed off them and grew and sprung because of them. Not so much because of them, but they were inspired by them and connected with them in America. But listen, that's what they're looking for today. They're looking for black people to spring up in action and connect with them again. But it ain't happening, and we know why. We tired of fighting for motherfuckers and they get what they want and we don't get what we want. Nah, thank you. I'm glad the people has awakened to reality. We ain't doing that shit no more. I also typed in which of these groups was started by Black American women because I want you to understand that Black American women played an important role in civil rights movements and they played an important role in organizing and fighting back. You understand what I'm saying? So, Black American women were instrumental in the civil rights movement, also initiated and led movements of their own. A lot of black men don't want to hear this, though. They want to act like black women didn't have shit to do with the movements. And Tyler Perry spoke about that at the BET Awards this year. He spoke about the how Black American women played an important role. But that when you tell it to men, you trying to say we ain't do shit. That's not what we saying. We just saying what's true. Black American women was instrumental in it. Many of the rights. Okay? They initiated and led movements of their own, many of which were overshadowed at the time, but have since been recognized for their transformative impact. Say it again. They were instrumental in the civil rights movement and also initiated and led movements of their own, many of which were overshadowed at the time, but have since been recognized for their transformative impact. Because back in those days, women were not really allowed to lead like that. You know what I'm saying? They had to have a man represent. That's how come Martin Luther King became the face of the civil rights movement. He didn't author it, but he did become the face of it because they needed a representative, a male representative. They had asked a few other leaders in the community, whether they be pastors or not, but many of the men refused it because of what was going to come about. The pushback on that was going to be, you know what I'm saying? But Martin Luther King was a young man when he accepted that position to represent these women's movement. He was in his 20s, his latter 20s, I believe, 28 or something. He was new in town and he went on ahead and accepted it. And it blew up into the civil rights movement, and they call it the MLK movement now because he became the representation of it. Men were leaders back then, okay? And so, here are some of the groups that were started by women. Here are some key movements and organizations started by Black American women during and connection with the civil rights movements. Women Political Council, okay, that was founded in Alabama, and Black women educators, and they initiated the Montgomery bus boycott in 1955 before MLK became involved. Y'all hear that shit? Before MLK even became involved, women hadn't already established a movement, which was the Montgomery bus boycott in 1955 before MLK became involved. Robinson and a WPC distributed the original boycott flyers. The focus was ending racial segregation on public transportation and promoting civic engagement. National Council of Negro Women, founded in 1935 prior to MLK movement, but active also during his movement. It was led by Mary McLeod Bethune. Yes, we know about her, right? Let me tell you, role during civil rights era. Under the leadership of Dorothy Height, the NCNW played a major role in bringing civil rights and women's rights, advocating for education, employment, and health services for Black families. She also was the woman who wrote the letter to the president to allow to start allowing Black ADOS Foundation of Black American Men to join the military. Yeah, they were not allowed to join the military. So she the one who promoted that. Okay. Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party, 1964 it was founded. Fannie Lou Hamer, the purpose was to challenge the legitimacy of all white Mississippi Democratic delegation at the 1964 Democratic National Convention. Y'all know I'm not into voting, right? We'll talk about that when I finish reading this. Voting rights and representation for African Americans in the South. All right. She was on that political stuff like organizing. That's what's up, though. I'm going to have to go back to that when I talk about why I don't vote. But this is what's up. Well, let's just go ahead into it right now. I don't vote because it don't make no damn sense to vote as an individual. Voting is supposed to be for communities. You understand what I'm saying, people? Whatever community you're residing in, that's where you place your vote for. You want your community to be better, right? They have Black people that's middle class. They're going to vote for the shit that matters for them and their middle class status. You have Black people that's poor, what they consider poor under a certain income bracket. They're gonna vote for what they think is better for them to come up. And then you have Black people in rich status, which means they funky fucking rich, and they're gonna vote for what benefit them. They're not gonna vote for what benefit poor Black people or you know what I'm saying, middle class. They're gonna vote for what benefits them as a rich Black person. A role like that in this country. Same thing when it comes to whites. There's poor white people, middle class, and rich. Same thing when it comes to Latin communities. There's poor, there's middle class, and when I say poor, it just means the income bracket is below a certain amount. And so there's poor, middle class, and rich. And people are going to vote for their interests. Okay. So don't expect your people to all just vote. Oh, shit. To all vote the same. Okay. Well, I can hear it better since that fell. Don't expect your people to all vote the same. Okay. But here's the thing, because you're voting for your community, you also have to vote for, okay, how can I put it? I don't vote because I think that voting is, like I say, it's supposed to be community based. When it comes to rich Black people, we are still their community. As poor or middle class Black people, we still their community. Okay, so how can I break it down? Let's just say um and this is making me sleep because I don't do voting. Let's just say Black people that's rich, they can, when if they vote for their own interests, they're voting not for, that wouldn't be based on, you know what, let's get into this another time. I don't want to talk about voting. I don't like talking about voting. I don't like voting and I don't like talking about voting. But if we were to be able to come together as a community and as a collective, when I say as a collective, I mean um, uh, majority ADOS FBA people come together as a collective and decide on this. Because check it out, like people like Ice Cube, That's what we would consider him rich. You understand what I'm saying? Ice Cube ain't gonna come sit with us in a community and vote against people that's black but aren't rich like him, right? And there's a discussion that needs to take place because maybe he don't like something as a rich black person. He don't want to vote for something that, or some kind of way they work it out and come to an agreement that, one second, they work it out and come to an agreement where this is how we should vote based on what as a collective, even though within that collective you have what you consider income rich, income middle class, and income poor. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay, so this is how the the Latinos and so forth move. Okay, when they come together, they do the same shit. When they come together, and they coming together as a collective under poor, middle class, rich. Yes, there's rich Latinos, right? You know that in America. So they're gonna make it where they're gonna find a way to find common ground to vote for their better, the better of their people in this country. How in the fuck they gonna be able to do a takeover if they only vote for rich Latinos? No, that's not happening. Okay, because the people, when you saw the Latino population taking over, doing the takeover during the Biden administration and Obama and all of that, they were getting all of this support and stuff like that because you had people in place working for them, for the better of the Latino collective of people, not just for rich Latinos or poor Latinos or middle class. They were working for the better of the people, period. And I'm quite sure the rich Latinos paid a lot of money to have give a helping hand in Latino politicians getting things in order for the Latino collective in America. And then you saw them making moves. They were getting all kinds of assistance out of our government. From Obama to Biden, they were getting all kinds of stuff. They were pushing. They were unified like the gays. You do understand there's rich gay, poor gay, middle class gay. You do understand that, right? But they came together as a collective and found a way to benefit the whole of the gay community as a collective. Do you understand? In that collective, there's rich gay people, middle class gay people, and poor gay people, and it benefited all. Do you understand now what I'm saying? That voting is a game of community, a collective type of collectivism. It's not individualism. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is why Miss Chantell don't do the voting stuff. That's not for me. I'm not into politics like that. It's a lot of game. It's a lot of thinking and strategy for politicians, especially if they really have a heart for their people. Like even when it comes to like Africa, if they're leaders of an African nation and they have a true heart for their people, they better know how to move and strategize. And some people just don't fucking know how to strategize. Hey, I'm not gonna say I don't know how to strategize, but that shit give me a headache thinking about it. You gotta know how to be a game player. You know what I'm saying? You gotta move like Obama, a quiet storm. They didn't even see him coming. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna go through there. I'm gonna give me a smart ass black wife. Yeah, that she got that connection, her right there. Look at her. Oh yeah, I can see her ass speaking on my behalf. Well, she said she don't want to be no politician. Girl, I'm gonna talk her right into this shit. Oh yeah. Oh baby, come on. And I don't want to have nothing to do with politicians. I don't like it. Oh baby, I'm gonna give you everything when we finish. I mean, she had to go through a lot supporting her man in the political world, and she know that she and her family was gonna get dragged, mainly herself, and she did get dragged a lot. They caused her a lot of all kinds of bad names and shit, talking about the ladies a he, she, and she looked like a man. They did all kind of stuff. And he even got pissed off and came out was like, hey, y'all can drag me all day long, but please leave my wife alone. Please stop it. Okay? But listen, Obama was like, toughen up. Come on now, you a black woman. You a black woman, Michelle. Come on now. And so she went through with him, and he was, yeah, yeah, yeah. So I got the black people vote. I done went out there and rolled up my sleeve, talking about we gonna work it out for this motherfucker who done beat somebody half dead because they made a noose. You know what I'm saying? He was gaming all the way through and through, and we know it now. We can look back and be like, yeah, that motherfucker played the game good because guess what? He don't give a fuck today about no Chicago neighborhoods. What happened to his program? Didn't he have some start the boy initiation program or some shit? We don't know about it because that shit probably gone. Okay, listen. Okay, we know he played the fuck out of the ADOS FBA family and a whole lot of other people, right? But listen, when the gay population, oh man, he worked for them big time. That was where it was. That was what he stood for. Did you see what he did to the White House during the gay pride celebrations and stuff? He lit up the whole White House with the gay pride flag lights and shit. I was like, well, god dang it, shabangy. I ain't never seen that before. He ain't even do that for blacks. Gave them all kind of rights. Even was trying to, he went all the different countries setting the shit straight. Hey, y'all go over there to Africa and the islands and shit where they stumping out the gays and make sure they got rights over there. Set up camp. Nothing for black people. So, anyways, we'll talk about him another time. Um, that's why I'm not big on voting because I think that voting is for people that really have the gift of strategy. They strategic type of people, and we have. Let me tell you something. As I was saying earlier, Martin Luther King cannot lead a nation. He could not. He could not, even if he wanted to, lead and represent for all ADOS FBA foundational Black people in the country. We had to have grassroots movements. Even he inspired the people to start movements and hold mass protests and peaceful protests and stuff like that to get our voices heard. He couldn't do it by himself. Nobody can do that alone. Even when it comes to biblical people that's church going and stuff like that and believe in the Bible, it says for us believers that the body of Christ, meaning all the people who believe in Christ, we are not the same. We purpose with different gifts. Some of us are purpose with gifts of this, some are purpose with gift. We all have different walks and different purposes in life to help grow the body of Christ. In our communities, to help grow our communities, we are all purpose with gifts. I'm not good with politics. Okay, I don't like the you gotta know how to be strategic and kind of a seer at that, kind of foresee some stuff. And I think there's people in our community that's gifted with that. Okay. I think that there's people in our community gifted with numbers that they know how to, boy, they gifted with numbers. They know how to really get that money going. When it comes to numbers and trading and all that, they gifted with the number set. They got people that's gifted with organizational skills, meaning organizing. They got people gifted with encouraging people, working with our children, because we definitely need educators when it comes to our children and taking care of our kids and stuff. But they got people gifted in different things, not just the arts like singing and stuff like that, but we gifted in all kind of stuff like technology, STEM, all type of STEM fields, and we medical field, gifted in that, gifted in a whole lot of stuff. And everybody should not be doing the same thing in a community. There should not be one leader of our community. That's crazy. I don't even know if that's possible. That shit. Oh no. We can agree and find common ground but you're going to always have multiple leaders for a big community like ours, foundational Black Americans, descendants of chattel slavery in America. All right, that's just what it is. So, with that being said, um, when we get these groups popping and popping, sometimes there's groups that spring up that's not of us or for us. You know what I'm saying? They're not of us, could be black immigrants or biracials or black bi ethnic people. They're not for us. They're not of us or for us. They're about their own agenda. A biracial person agenda is not going to be strictly a full, like, for me, I'm not a biracial woman. My parents are black. Both sides of my parents are black. So I'm strictly about blackness. When I say blackness, I'm talking ADOS FBA. I'm not divided on my dad's a Mexican. So let me tend to that too, like a biracial person would be. I already told you earlier in the stream that I still know two biracial young ladies that have a white dad and a wife side rejected them, but their daddy was very still is very much involved in their life. So they are, and you can't tell them they're not black because they grew up in black societies and among the black side of the family, and um, in their minds they're black. But again, if they were to sit down and be on a task force for up and working for the black community, full blacks working in our community, they're going to be divided because they're not gonna sit there and be like, oh, we can't trust no white folks like I would or some shit like right now we need to keep all the white folks out of our business because we want to make sure our shit is not compromised by nobody. You know what I'm saying? So whoever in this bitch got white family members, no offense, but listen, not today, sis or bro. You're gonna have to leave out today. We can't afford to be compromised. So that would be an argument for them. Why can't I? But my daddy's black. But your mama's white, right? So can't afford to be compromised. And those young ladies who I speak of, they would not sit and agree that every single white person is evil to them because they're going to defend their dad who is not evil to them. Even though we're not saying every single white person is evil, what we're saying is that we want to protect our movement or whatever we're doing, we want to protect it and make sure it's not compromised. So we want full, like I tell your mobsters, they be like, you can't join unless you full blood. I tell you understand what I'm saying? That makes sense. Okay. All right. So what other nations is there where biracial people's leading, by the way? I'd like to know that. Y'all know what the Haitians did when they went into war, right? The first thing they did. And by the way, a lot of people be talking about the Haitian guy that discovered Chicago or whatever. Listen, baby, they had a bunch of natives living there when that guy went there. He just established a town, but they already had a lot of people living there. And his daddy, who was white, yes, he was a biracial. His daddy, who was white, of course, put him in that position. He wants his half black child to be it's still his child, right? So he's going to help that half black boy become successful, as many of them did. All right. And so that is how that went. But you do know when the Haitians started their war, their independence war that they had, the first thing they did was got rid of the half white Haitians. They got rid of all of them first. Now ask yourself why. All right, because it was compromised to them. They didn't expect those people to, oh yeah, I'm Haitian or whatever. Even if they were, they didn't trust that they would be. They was like, them motherfuckers gonna kill us for the other half. You understand what I'm saying? So in the other half, I mean, the people had put them in charge. A lot of the biracials were the ones in charge. Just like every nation that has conquered another nation and they have biracials, they usually put them in charge. Like in Sudan, the Sudanese people. Hold on. Oh, my cranberry juice got watered down. Listen, let me go put my start my sheet over again and stop. Give me a second. You know what? Let me not leave it just. Let me see if I can play a video while I do this because I don't want to just leave it silent. Let me see. I'm so fly, so good. You know me feel. I'm so fly. All right. Stop hating on denominations in the black church. That's interesting. I don't know if I play his video, will the channel be strike for that? So I would play his video until I come back, but I don't know because last time I played somebody's video on live, they say you can't play somebody's video while they live streaming. You can use it after the stream has ended. So I can't play that. Let me go into girl, I wouldn't trust no cat around my baby. Heck no. No dog either. Oh my gosh. What the? A Texas woman arrested for stealing a wig off a corpse at a film. Okay, just stop it. That's enough of that. It's ridiculous. Black people observing Pride Month is Cave Nation. I like this dude videos. I don't know though. Like he might not want me playing this video on my channel. So what can I play on here? Oh my. So this is why Nick Cannon keeps having kids. It's messier than you think. Child. Listen. All right, I got something I play. I'll play this right here. All right, give me a second. I am back from break. You're listening to Soft Jams with Miss Chantell. How are you feeling today? That's some Delilah stuff. Y'all know about Delilah? I used to listen to Delilah radio station, Soft Something. I really liked listening to her station because it was relaxing. Delilah with, I can't remember. But anyways, basically jazz musically. Well, not jazz music, but laid back dedication songs to people. All right. Let me turn this down a little. That was very relaxing. Very relaxing. Let me get back to the topic. All right. So go back to my screen. So Miss Chantel was giving her spiel about, one second. I have a lot of windows open right now. I was giving my spiel about leadership in the black community. Okay. And what else I was talking about? Um, yeah, basically, let me give me a second. Let me think back to what I was talking about. Yep, I listed all the movements. And so, anyways, I can't remember exactly what I was saying when I left off, but I tried to remember, but that thought fled, honey, when I was doing a whole bunch of other crap. So let's get back into. I had looked up the grassroots movements too because a lot of people don't know what grassroots movements is, grassroots. But I looked it up and basically it's let's go into this right here. The definition of grassroots movement is a type of social or political movement that begins at the local community level, often driven by ordinary people rather than political leaders or elites. These movements typically grow from the bottom up, relying on community organizing, volunteer efforts, and widespread participation to create change. And the key features of grassroots movements, they initiated and led by everyday people, not top down leadership. They built around local issues or injustices. They use methods like protests, petitions, boycotts, and sit ins, and they focus on collective action and empowerment. Okay, and we still do have a whole lot of grassroots movements here in America. We shall pop off with some more, as many as possible. But for us, of us, and for us, at least that's the ones that we should support. All right. So we have movements, grassroots movements of people. Let me go back into the integration shit. Integration is among the ADOS FBA people. Now we talk about MLK, and a lot of people be like, "Oh, he was an integrationist." All right. Oh shit, my phone went dead. One second. Yes, indeed. Was he an integrationist though? Not really. Not in my book. He was definitely not an integrationist in my book. Okay. He was somebody pushing for the better of his community. Okay. One second. All right. Wow, that popped up a 2% quick. All right. Got a fast charge. Yeah, we gotta be careful with all that AI stuff going on out here, honey. Shit. But they just had, not to change subjects, but Timberland, I think his name is Timberland. He just created an AI rap label. That's what he created, which is cool. He's making money off AI. Why not? I think that's pretty cool. Now, wow. That's all I can say about that. It's like, oh, okay. So back to what I was saying. Um, Martin Luther King was not an integrationist. He believed in, let me say this first. He was not an integrationist for the fact that Harry Belafonte, who joined the movement, y'all know who I'm talking about, right? Singer, Spanish singer. He joined the movement. He was married to a black woman, had a daughter with her, and he joined the movement. And later down the line, he decided he helped fund the movement too with his finances. Later down the line, he said he funded the whole damn thing though. Okay, but later down the line, he divorced his black wife and left her to be with a white woman. So the committee decided to dismiss him from the organization, the civil rights movement organization, because he had married a white woman and he was working against what they were pushing. Okay, he was working against it, and so he was an immigrant. Yeah, he was an immigrant, sweetheart. And so they dismissed him from the movement. That alone tells you Martin Luther King was not on some leave your black family and your black wife to go marry white women. They were not on that, sweetheart, at all. But let me explain something to you. When you start a movement, you have to be careful because you have people that coattail you, follow you, be up under you, and twist your shit. They'll even pop up with their own little leadership role from your community or your organization that they gain clout from, but they'll have a spin on it. All right. So a lot of people they um they were using Martin Luther King to represent integration. Like for instance, the school systems. I don't think Martin Luther King had anything to do with that. But when you think about that, the integration of the school systems, you think him, right? And let's see, let's type it up. Give me a second. Spelling all wrong in mess. All right, so it says right here the school integration movement in America was sparked and advanced by many individuals and organizations, but the legal and historical turning point came with the landmark Supreme Court case, Brown versus Board of Education. Okay, so right here at the bottom is okay. Let me just read it through. Brown versus Board of Education, 1954. Who led it? Thurgood Marshall led lead attorney for the NAACP, legal defense Fun, later the first black Supreme Court justice. I didn't know that about him. He was the lead attorney for the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. Interesting. He later became the first black Supreme Court judge. Oliver Brown, one of the parents who sued on behalf of his daughter, Linda Brown, in Topeka, Kansas. What did the movement do? The ruling declared racial segregation in public schools un- the ruling declared racial segregation in public schools unconstitutional, overturning Plessy versus Ferguson 1896, which had upheld separate but equal. Why did it matter? It legally forced integration of public schools across the US, especially in the South, and energized the broader civil rights movement. Okay, so Martin Luther King did not he did not play a role in integrating the schools. Matter of fact, we just heard him talk about how he could see black boys and girls holding hands and stuff like that. It didn't mean relationships. Come on, people. It means that we living in one common society equally, but separate. Trust me, but separate. He was not pushing no white man. Can we move in your community and marry your women? Oh no, he was not. He know what would have came of that. He know that would have endangered black young women and girls that's marriageable. That would have put them in danger to marry white men at that time, especially. Are you crazy? That would have a black man couldn't defend his married daughter against you see what I'm saying? Like it don't even make sense. Okay? It doesn't even make sense. So that man was not pushing that type of integration. What he was doing was extending a hand of brotherhood to Caucasian people, saying that we can stand as one nation under liberty with equality. That's what he was doing. He was extending a hand of brothership to these Caucasians, of a hand, stating that listen, we can live in one nation under one law, under liberty and justice for all. That right there. Okay, that's what he was on. If little black boys and girls can hold hands, then surely the parents gotta hold hands first, right? Black men and black women and white men and women. You get what I'm saying? They would have to hold. He was not pushing that type of thing. He was more of pushing a hand of brotherhood, saying we can work together and build the society, the nation as one, equally, but separately. You understand? One second. Let me get my computer battery. Where is it? Some people will argue the difference and say, nah, nah, nah. He was pushing that. Nah, nah, nah. He was pushing that. Let's live and integrate and get it on with each other. No, he wasn't. That's what black immigrants push, right? Yeah, he was an integrationist. He man was not doing that. Hold on. You be having people talking about, ain't that what Martin Luther King was about? Integration. Stop that. But a lot of other organizations that popped off, they were about that. And when you start organizations and stuff like that and movements, you have to be very careful because people will spin your shit. Period, point blank. Let's take a look at the NOI Nation. And who was the man who was first? I always forget. Elijah Muhammad, I think they called him, the leader of it. And so what happened? He had people like Farrakhan, Malcolm X, and so forth. Now, 1 second. He has those people who were once coattailing him on his coat, meaning his people that support him and that's right next to him, coattailing him. That eventually, people that coattail you, that's right on you, right there with you in your movement, they're gonna eventually spring into their own movements. You should know this. If you hire a worker and that person is right next to you, after, I guarantee you, if it's not 10 years, 20, after that, they are going to eventually open their own company or whatever it is that they work for you doing for so long. They know it in and out. They're going to start their own spin of it. Okay. Why wouldn't they? So you had Malcolm X starting his own thing, ended up in disagreement with the original leader of the NOI Nation. You had Farrakhan start his own organization, the original from the original, NOI Nation, and they all have different agendas. Farrakhan had a different agenda from Malcolm X organization, NOI organization, and the NOI organization original leader, I think his name was Elijah Muhammad. His son, who took over the original organization after he was no longer here, had his own agenda. He changed up everything. It was like it's a new person in town, new sheriff in town. Things are changing here. This is what I'm about. So understand when it comes to having organizations and movements, you have to be careful that your stuff don't get twisted because you're gonna have other people that spring up from your organization, your movement, with their own agenda, and your shit get twisted up in it, just like MLK. A lot of people, got this man mixed up with the integration stuff, but he was still pushing the level of integration, right? The level of integration that he pushed was not leave your wife and husband and go off into the white community and procreate and be one with white people. It wasn't that type of integration he pushed, but he was extending a hand of brotherhood, saying that we can be one people under one nation, on one land, under one nation, operating as one, equally but separately. Okay, meaning our community over here, your community over there, but we can still come together and work together for the better of our society equally and have equal rights and stuff. All right, but Martin Luther King was young when he was doing this movement and stuff like that, very young, very inexperienced. And one thing he came to learn was that he came to learn that you cannot integrate yourself with people that stand with people that go against humanity. He came to understand that. See, they were not only against their hand was not only against Black America, foundational Black Americans, it was against a whole lot of people in the fucking world. You understand what I'm saying? It wasn't just a fight in America, it was a worldwide fight. He came to understand that. You're trying to unify and make peace with who? Dark forces of evil principalities. It wasn't working. All right? Was not working. And he came to understand that, and he admitted that he felt like he led his people into a burning house. Integrating with such people. Okay? The people had a history that was, whoo, you sure you want to integrate with them? So a lot of people was not about the civil rights movement. They were about the civil rights movement, but they were not about integrating. When they started talking that integrating stuff, that's when a lot of people pulled back from it. A lot of people was not into that, baby. When they started talking that integration stuff, they pulled back from that civil rights movement. They was like, honey, let's move along, especially black women. Yeah, a lot of them pulled back. That wasn't the goal. The goal was to get equality, separate but equal. That was the goal. You understand what I'm saying? But again, it's all about being strategic. And if you want to ask Miss Chantell the real idea, what I think, I'm gonna give my personal opinion to what I really truly believe the issue was. And it's still like this today. The issue is that like Africans, they see white people as gods. That's the issue. Because if you don't see them as gods, why do you go to them for everything? You take their word for sure, even though it's scientific stuff. Scientific stuff is based on theory. It's not based on facts. It's based on theory, which means there is no such thing as a correct or solid answer. It's based on theory. So yeah, I think that that's an issue with foundational Black America as well. We resist, and we're resilient people, and we may push back on things that we feel is inhumane and all that kind of stuff. But a form of protesting in the streets to white people, to a white government that was built on racism, it just doesn't make sense, right? And that's not all of us that do that. That's a lot of our young people that get out there and do that, because young people is filled with energy. You know what I'm saying? They got a lot of energy to bring that kind of noise forward. And even in the MLK days, you had people marching in the street and stuff like that for equality and justice and stuff like that. But for me, I happen to personally think that doesn't make sense. Okay, that's number one. So if you didn't think that these people held all the answers and stuff like that to society, you would not protest to them. Do you understand what I'm saying? You wouldn't protest to these people. Okay. So, and let me go a little further back before I close this live stream, because I've been streaming out for 2.5 hours. But let me say this. Back in the days, let's take it way back. Before slavery, before so-called African colonization, whatever, you had nations around the world surviving, right? No white people. White people was in their own area. You had nations around the world surviving, living happily in their societies. They had food. There was no food shortage. They knew how to survive in the climate, in the area, the regions that they resided. They knew how to survive in those regions. And so those people were thriving. They were happy. Many were building great societies. Okay. And along came the Hellenistic movement of Europeans believing that everybody in the world should be of one language and under one government. And they went around the world conquering people and forcing them to learn how to speak um what was the language? They was forcing them to learn how to speak Greek, the Greek language. And so we counted that as the world war, the world we counted that as the one world order, where they went around conquering nations, forcing people to, you know, um, to speak, to be of one language, one move, one government, and stuff like that. You know what happened, right? It ended up, the conqueror's language ended up becoming okay. The conquered and the conquerors, they ended up communicating and producing a whole new language. Okay, like for instance, Creole languages around the world. There's many thousands of Creole languages around the world. Creole languages come from they come from languages that has a conqueror and a conquered group. And through that communication, the language mix and become something new. Like the French spoken in Africa is not the French in France. I had a friend who worked. Remember, I told y'all I kicked it with an African guy from one of them French countries, Ivory Coast, and short time, friendship. And so this guy, I worked with a girl from Canada at the time, and she was, I think, Quebec, Canada. She spoke French. I said, "Oh yeah, my friends speak French. My friends speak French or whatever." And he come and pick me up today. I'm gonna introduce y'all. So I introduced them, and they couldn't understand each other speaking French. They could not understand. Both of them spoke English, by the way, but they could not understand each other in French. Ain't that a blimp? I was like, "What? Y'all can't understand each other's French? What kind of?" And that's when I learned that there's everybody around the world speak a form of Creole. If they're not, listen, the original French is France. Africans don't speak that kind of French, nor do the Quebec people from Canada or wherever else they speak French. The Haitians, those are Creole languages. Same thing with Spanish. If you want to speak in colleges, they're going to teach you the standard Spanish, which comes from Spain. That's the Spanish they're going to teach. But if you really want to be somebody who's fluent in Spanish, meaning you can talk to any Spanish speaking group, they say the best Spanish to learn is the Colombian Spanish. All right. So I used to know, I haven't taken it in a while or studied it in a while. I took it in high school and college, Spanish, standard Spanish from Spain. I never learned the Colombian Spanish, but they say if you want to know how to speak to all Spanish speaking people, learn the Colombian Spanish. All right, so those are Creole languages that came about from the conquered and the conquerors. They wanted everybody to speak one language, but they ended up creating a new language. Every group they went out and conquered created a new language. If they enslaved the people and slept with them as well, they created a hybrid of people. a whole new group of people like ADOS FBA people. They created a whole new breed of people. And after doing it for so many decades and centuries, you got a whole new group of people around the world that was enslaved, descendants of slaves around the world. But they're no longer African people. Those are new hybrids of people. They're not Africans. They have been bred out. You understand what I'm saying? All right. So, um, what was my original point? I hate when I go way off topic and I end up talking about something and forgot the original topic. But back it up. Let's back it up. The original topic was I was talking about the MLK movement and so forth like that. Black people, ADOS FBA family. Please start highlighting the positive things of your communities. Please start talking about the our young people that's graduating colleges. A lot, many of them. Don't let these immigrants come in your face talking about majority of college graduates are immigrants. That's baloney. Okay? Listen, stop talking about the positives of your community, ADOS FBA. Okay? That's what it's about. If you sit around all day and talk about the failures of your community, that listen, the small percentage of things that may not be good in our community, it does not represent the majority of us. Because you have some students in a certain particular school or area that steal candy bars out the store, it doesn't mean all our young people are out there stealing candy bars. Some of our young people have a high level of integrity. Oh, yeah. They're very smart, intelligent, all that good stuff. Got to start speaking positive about yourself, your children, your communities. Because speaking negativity, it ruins you. It doesn't uplift you. It ruins you. And we have sabotaging people among us that's already doing that. Okay, they'll talk about the Black American community, which is our community, ADOS FBA, pretending like they us, talking about us in a very bad way. We don't need to add to the foolery. Do you understand? Celebrate our young people that's doing great things. Celebrate our women out there doing great things, and celebrate our brothers out there doing wonderful, great things because it's a plenty of them, and it's more of them than the bad. People just like to highlight gangs and all of that kind of stuff. Do you understand what I'm saying? So yeah. Now, moving along, I talked about that. Let's talk about this right quick before I close up. When I talk about biracial and integration and stuff like that, a lot of biracial people take it to heart and be like, "Oh, she trying to exclude us from the black community, but you can't exclude us." No, I'm not trying to exclude you. You can't be excluded. You're right. You have black. You can't be excluded, right? Um, but you can be categorized when organizing. When we are organizing our communities, you can be categorized. And that's what's important for us to categorize, organize. What's important is that we organize and categorize people in our community, of our community. You understand what I'm saying? Like in our community, if we got biracials in our community, which we do, and bi ethnic people, which we do, when a community is organizing, you don't just go, this is one. You need to categorize. These are full black people. These are biracial people. These are bi ethnic people of our community. Do you understand? because we each have different experiences in life. We don't all have the same experience. That's not true. That's just not the truth. Okay. That would be very foolish to, you know what I'm saying? Come on now. So we do have to organize and categorize people in our communities. When we are doing when we're doing statistics, we can't say a interracial family is a black family. That's not the truth. An interracial family is just that. An interracial family, and their children are the product of interracial couple, which means they are biracial. Don't tell me there's not a such thing as biracial, baby. Bi means two. Okay, this person has two different races. Okay, they are not just a white person, they're not just a black person. They have two races, two different parents of two different races that produce them. They are what you call biracial. Okay, enough said on that. It is what it is, period. I don't care that they are more black looking or more white looking. Again, I'm going to say that if we text message, I'm going to say again, if we looking to not be compromised, we cannot afford to have people that look black sitting among us who was raised by non-black people, and telling us that they were taught by non-black people about us. That shit don't make no sense right now. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to offend nobody, but that don't make no sense. And a lot of real full-blooded sisters ain't gonna roll with it. Okay. Because the Obama era is over. We're not doing that no more. Where it's enough to just look black. He did that. He pulled that move. Well, I'm black. Half of them probably ain't know he had a white mama. And if they did, they was like, oh, well, he looks black. But girl, his mentality ain't black. And he showed you that shit when he got in office. You understand what I'm saying? You found out what was truly on his heart and what he truly stood for and put his efforts to, which was the gay community, who was not Black America. Enough said on that. Say less. I like saying that. Say less. Okay? Listen, we can't do that no more. We have to be so organized to the point where we categorize as well. So we got those type of people in our communities. They do play a role, but it cannot be representation or leadership. Well, they can lead their own little communities within our communities, certainly. Okay. But I just happen to think that you know, we had the same issue with indigenous blacks in this country when they were all mixed up having children and all of that. And then next thing you know, when the government came around and wanted to classify people as this race and that race, because it was all about land and giving reparations, whatever land or whatever. When it got to doing, hold on. Yeah, when they got to doing all that, um, the native people was like, hold on now. Hold on, you half indigenous. You not full blood, so you can't be representing us now. You not full blood. Wait a minute now. Okay. Anywhere around the world where you have that going on, biracials, you're gonna have that kind of issue. It's a anywhere around the world. Okay, and it's just how it is. I told y'all I wanted to talk about. I always tell you I want to talk about the culture of erasure of the black indigenous family in Louisiana, the culture there, the black indigenous culture. If you guys was to take a trip down south, go to those communities on the outskirts of Louisiana, on the outskirts, ooh yeah, on the outskirts of Alabama, Mississippi. Ooh, somebody fighting down there, or Mississippi, you'll encounter many descendants of even within New Orleans City. You'll encounter many people with indigenous heritage, Cuban as well, you know. So you'll encounter them and Creoles and swamp folks and stuff like that. You'll encounter all that. But my point being is that you don't know the history. And if you want to know the history, you should take a trip down south on the outskirts before you yap your mouth about what you don't know. I mean, all you got to do is just pull up Chat GPT and ask about the erasure culture of Black Indigenous people and why it happened. God dang it, it's written all over the place. Go to the internet or something. But people won't do that because they rather dismiss it and push the agenda that white people taught them that. Well, it's documented, so it's an actual documented culture and what happened and things like that. So it white people didn't deny it. It's not denied or undocumented. It's documented. Okay. So you have those type of issues within communities everywhere where they have biracials and bi-ethnic people. All right. Let me tell you real quick before I wrap up why Miss Chantell says if you let them lead, it's kind of like being compromised. Now, all through, y'all know I'm biblical, right? Listen, all through the Bible, you have, let's start with, I heard one guy say, by the way, that all Africans are the biblical Hebrews. I'm like, excuse me? Where at? What? Oh my gosh. All Africans are not biblical Hebrewites. But listen, for those, a lot of them that believe that the Bible speaks of Hebrew, believe that Africans are the real biblical Hebrew Israelites. This is how the story goes. The Hebrews of the Bible say all the Hebrews, right? And there was many. Out of all those Hebrews, the nation of Hebrews, one man was chosen as the apple of God's eye, Abraham. He was chosen, right? And God chose him and blessed the seed of Israel to come through him. A new nation of people from that originate from the Hebrews. Do you understand what I'm saying? The Israelites come from the Hebrews because the first man was Abraham, a Hebrew, right? And then God made a whole new lineage. I ain't gonna say lineage, but he made a whole new culture of people branching from the Hebrew people. Not all Hebrews are Israelites. Just like all Africans are not Hebrews Israelite. All Africans are not Hebrew Israelites. And in the Bible, all Hebrews are not Israelites. Okay? It was Abraham's lineage where it started. Abraham had brothers and sisters and so forth. Maybe we just mention of the brothers though we know about. He had brothers, and it doesn't say that his brothers' children and family were Israelites, does it? No, it doesn't. But Abraham lineage became Israelites. And it began with Abraham, and then Abraham had Isaac, and then Isaac had the twins, Esau and Jacob. And it was supposed to go through Esau, the firstborn son, but we know the story, what happened with that. So it went to Jacob. And there his name changed from Jacob to Israel. And his descendants became the Israelites into the Jew line. Okay. Now, when they all were growing up, Abraham had two sons. He eventually had more children, but the first two we're talking about, he had Isaac. Well, his first child was Ishmael, but the servant made Israel. The servant made I think his mother's name was Hagar in the Bible, something like that, and she had Jacob's first son, not Jacob, Israel, Abraham's first son, and so he was half Israelite and half Egyptian. And so he did not get the blessings of the first son because his mother was not Abraham's wife. She was sort of like a maid servant concubine type of thing. I don't want to misspeak, but that's how the story kind of goes. And you can read it for yourself, of course. And it didn't go through Ishmael, but Ishmael was blessed because of his dad, Abraham, being a man of God. And so the firstborn blessings went to Jacob, whose mother was Abraham's wife, first wife, Sarah, and she was also Israelite. So see, Jacob was full blood Israelite. Mixture was not a good thing then. I it just wasn't.
Text message.
Hold on. All right. So as the story goes on, when Esau grew up, Isaac grew up, they sent him to Abraham sent his servant to his Hebrew family to get Isaac a wife that was Hebrew to continue the Israelite bloodline. Remember, Israelite, the lineage is Hebrew, but they became a new culture of people, Israelite, but their lineage were Hebrew. Not all Africans are Hebrew. Not all Hebrew are Israelite. If you follow what I'm saying, do you understand what you might follow it, might not follow. But the point being, just follow the point. The point is, Abraham went and got a son. He didn't want his son engaging with the local women, the Canaanites. So he sent his servant back home to get his son a wife. I think that was Rebecca, right? So they ended up having twins. And their son Esau, the oldest one, he ended up messing with the local Canaanite women, which was against his parents' will and a want. And they were very displeased that he did such. And they told Jacob, their other son, to go to their relatives, the Hebrews, and get a wife from them. But do not mess with the Canaanite women, the local women. They kept it in a lineage. Okay. Let me tell you something. Mixing bring about confusion. I heard a pastor who's mixed say that before. He said when people mix it just mixing stuff bring about confusion. That's I pretty much see that, yeah. But anyways, you know, we're not against mixed people, biracials or bi ethnic, because they are humans, of course. And it's not about your ethnicity, but it's about how, or your race, but it's about how society, text message, it's about how society works. All right, and how you fit into society. And as a biracial person or a bi-ethnic person, you probably have some people that give pushback to, well, this person is compromised because they have another kind of parent, and we want to make sure everything we do is about our children. You understand? And so that's how it can become confusing, and people is like, I don't think I want to support something that has, that can be compromised or whatever like that. And my load finished quick. And so, that's the confusion and stuff it brings. So I don't think it's about casting biracials or by ethnic people aside. It's more about we have to organize better and categorize better. And categorize means to me, you have to, in your group. Okay, let me say this first. Hold on. Did I even finish my point with this? With the okay, Esau and Ishmael, Jacob, and then yeah, I was the point being is that with the mixing thing, they didn't want to bring in confusion. That was the whole point of them keeping it in the lineage. You understand what I'm saying? There's so many Bible stories where the person was biracial or married to somebody outside of the ethnic group, and it brought a level of confusion. So moving along, text message. That thing is so distracting. Moving along, as I was saying, I think it's more about organizing and categorizing. Like in the Bible, I'm gonna pull it up for you right quick, and then I'm gonna close out because I've been talking long enough. I'm gonna close out after this, but let me pull this up for you right quick. This is pretty interesting. Let me go to this one. I think I can find it on this one. Woo! Y'all, is it hot out there where you are? It is. Woo! Yeah, heat warnings and stuff. 1 second, let me type this up. Yeah, it is pretty hot. It's definitely summertime. Enjoy the summer. That's what I'm talking about. We're going to enjoy this summer. All right. So, oh, I didn't know that. Wow. 1 second. But it doesn't. Let's see if this give me the chapter. All right, I got it. Let's go to that. I got too many windows open. Let me close some of these windows. All right, so I don't know if I should refresh this. Interesting. All right, I'm gonna just go to the internet because it's acting up. Man. All right. All right, I got it. All right. So I'm on the book that I'm talking about. All right. So right here it says the arrangement of the tribal. What is that? Okay, I see it. All right. So the arrangement of the camps, and we're gonna read about that right quick. All right. Now what happened? I did not. Come on, boo. Work with me. Ooh-wee. All right. So it says the arrangement of the tribal camps. And let's read this right quick. It says the arrangement of the tribal camps. And we're about to read about being organized and categorized. Do you understand what I'm saying? You know, when we read scriptures, we supposed to understand that God is teaching us through the Israelites in these Bible stories how to behave and how to conform our mind to this and how to behave, you know, the good teachings, how to behave accordingly like a nation. That's the point of the stories, right? This nation, this is how nations are to behave. This is what the Israelite nation is supposed to tell us. The stories in the scriptures supposed to teach us how a nation is to behave. Love thy neighbors. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's husband or wife. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not, you know, it's telling us how to behave in our nations as people. They were an example. So the array of the tribal camps. This is what happened when God brought them out of slavery in Egypt. It says, the Lord said to Moses and to Aaron, hold on, let me make sure this is on the screen before I get to read. I see my computer is kind of going slow. I wonder what's going on with that. All right, so it says, the arrangement of the tribal camps.
The Lord said to Moses and Aaron, the Israelites are to camp around the tent of meeting some distance from it, each of them under the standard and holding the banners of their family, each of them under their standard and holding the banners of their family. Do you understand, people? When they came out of Egypt, they were all like so many people, 600,000 plus, all just mixed in different tribes because there was 12 brothers, right? The Benjaminites, the Gedonites, the Judanites, the uh Simon. Okay, there was Simon, Levi, Simon, Levi, Judah, Levite, um, Gad, Asher, Joseph, and Benjamin. That's Leah's children, and then you know, it equaled out to 12 sons, and each of those 12 sons were the patriarchs of 12 different family lineages, tribes. Okay, and so they were to organize by the tribe, the patriarch. Okay, the Judanites under this banner. They were all Israelite, but they were to get organized. This brother's family under the Gadonites under the Gadonite brother, the Judanites under the Judah brother, and so forth like that. Okay, so they were one big family of Israelites, and they were to organize, which means categorize, basically, into their particular family banner and group. You understand what I'm saying? So when I say I believe in organizing and categorizing, that's what I'm talking about. Even though we all black people, right? Even amongst ADOS FBA, we got biracials and bi-ethnic people. We are to organize and categorize. Okay. Now, when it came to, they did have some biracials in. It's a lot of you know not so good readings about that. And they were by ethnic people as well. When it comes to by ethnic people of the Israelite, they all Israelite, but the by ethnic person can have a mother from the Gedonites and a father from the Judanites. Then it says, "You are the seed of your father." And then when it comes to biracials, it wasn't. That was kind of like a forbidden type of thing. You understand what I'm saying? Um, yeah. But they did have biracials, of course, because they lived in Egypt and they were enslaved, and you know what comes about when that happens. You're gonna have biracials, okay?
Text message.
But they all were to organize
Are you looking
and
to establish your
categorize.
address other than your phone?
One second. They were to organize and categorize to the T. They were organized to the T, baby. Let's read on so I can wrap this up. On the east, toward the sunrise, the divisions of the camp of Judah are to encamp under their standard. That means under their banner, right? Under their father's tribe. The leader of, because the fathers are, the men are the leaders. It's a man's world. That's what it is. Right. The leader of the people of Judah is Nahshon, son of, and they chose a leader for every tribe. Okay. The tribe of Issachar will camp next to them. And then it said the leader of the people of Issachar is Nathaniel, son of Zor. His division numbers was 54,000 of Issachar's. Wow. Let me go back up one to the third. It said on the east toward the sunrise, the division of Judah are to camp under their standard. The leader of the people of Judah is Nahshon, son of Amminadab. His division numbers is 74,600. Ooh, these was a lot of people coming out of Egypt, babe. that God delivered out of the hand of slavery. And so then the tribe of Issachar would camp next to them. The leader of the people of Issachar is the son of Nathaniel, son of Zur. His division is 54,400. The tribe of Zebulun will be next. The leader of the people of Zebulun is Elab, son of Helon. His division numbers is 57,400. All the men assigned to the camp of Judah, according to their divisions and number, was 186,400. They will set out first.
Wow.
All the men assigned to the camp of Judah, according to their divisions. That's a lot. 186,400 will set out
Text
first.
message.
On the south, the divisions of the camp will be Reuben under their standard, under their banner, right? The leader of the people of Reuben is Elijah, son of Shedar. His division numbers is 46,500. Then it goes on to say the tribe of Simon will camp next to them. The leader of the people of Simeon is Shemuel, son of Zerubbabel. His division numbers is 59,300. The tribe of Gad was. So this was a lot of people, okay? And they had to get organized and categorized. When you organize, you also have to categorize, right? Because you can organize and have everybody doing different things and being organized, but it can still be unorganized. And what I mean by that, let me tell you what happened. As he organized them, God had them to organize themselves. Each camp had to behave properly, because if they messed up, it wasn't going to fall on all Israelites. If they messed up and did bad things, it was going to fall directly on their family. The tribe name of Judah, or the tribe name of Benjaminite, or the tribe name of Gadite. Do you understand what I'm saying? So they would bring shame to the tribe name, not all of Israel, like they're doing right now in America, right? They calling themselves Black American, and they don't want to abide and ride and stand up under their tribal names, under their ethnic, they call it today, ethnic names, because when they're doing crazy crap out there, they want it to all fall on Black Americans. And it shouldn't be that way. All right. But that's what have happened if they had not organized and categorized properly among them, the Israelites. It would have all fell on just the name of Israel. But no, as time goes on and you read the scriptures, when one group of people did something, they were able to trace directly who did it. They went straight to the tribe of Reuben when they had all ganged up on a woman and did wrong things. They knew exactly where to go. It was the tribe of the Reubenites. They went there to get those men who did the act, the bad act. And when the rest of Israel went to that tribe to address their bad behavior that they had brought to Israel and to their own family within Israel, the people said, oh no, we're not giving them up to you. We're going to protect our family. And the rest of Israel, all the other camps was like, oh yeah, you want to protect them, what they just did to this woman, this man and his wife. You want to protect them? You know what they did to the Benjaminite camp? They refused to send them out. So they took and burned the whole camp, women and children and everything in there. They were like, okay, y'all want to stand with them? All right. The Israel people dealt with them and they burned the whole camp. Like 600 men escaped into the mountains. They eventually got caught and stuff and they dealt with them. But the point being is that they brought shame to their ancestors' name as well. But the point being is that they were able to trace them directly to their families, the particular ethnic tribe that they were. Okay. So these people were organized and categorized. That's the purpose. That's why Miss Chantell believe in not just being organized, but categorized as well. We can have a lovely community in America where Black Americans are organized, right? We got groups sprung up that's doing great things in the community, all that. Picture that. But people are not categorized. So if something do break off, they don't bring shame to their name. They bring shame to the wholeness of blackness. Do you understand? We don't want to do that anymore. Us foundational Black Americans, because it bears our name. Black America is our name, the title of our name. So it brings bad to us. So we say, we don't want to do that type of stuff no more. Y'all need to identify as your origins, so that when you do cut up, we know directly who you are. And that's why I believe in organizing and categorizing, because it's biblical, and Miss Chantell is biblical. Okay, I see things from a biblical outlook. Some people don't see things from a biblical outlook. I respect you for your opinion, respect me for mine. It's just that simple. Okay. I don't hate people for their opinions or anything like that. As long as you ain't hurting nobody and shit, I don't have nothing to do with your business. But if the person is a menace to society, it's likely that the society gonna deal with them. Okay. But other than that, I think people should tend to who they are. That's, if you want to, live, that's your business. How you want, is your business. So, thank you for tuning in and listening to Miss Chantell. This is just my personal opinion, and I know you have your personal opinion. And we respect each other's opinion and keep it moving. So, yeah, I think I talked about everything I wanted to touch up
Text
on
message.
in this live stream. Okay, thank you for tuning in again. And you guys have a wonderful, blessed day. All right, peace.